Hello, 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 welcome. This video is going to be about the twin flame energies, soulmate energy, twin flame energy, however this resonates for you. For some, it's going to be very resonant with twin flame in connection or not in physical connection. There may be a situation where you are in connection, but it's more on an astral plane or in the dream state. And so I really felt compelled to this energy and message because of my own experience with twin flame and the fact that I'm actually not in physical connection. So this was a dream. I have met my twin flame here in the physical. We are not in connection. And based on the conversation that we had in the astral or in the dream state last night, it really was kind of validation that that's not this journey for us. It doesn't mean that we don't support each other, and it doesn't mean that the energies don't matter. They very much do. So, hello everyone. I am Melissa L. Watkins, spiritual life coach, integrated energy therapy master instructor, and all things spiritual. So, this is a really interesting subject for me to cover because for years and years and years in doing readings for people in intuitive guidance sessions, medium readings, I always kind of steered away from. And if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know that even doing readings for the collective or in any way, I veered away from doing like twin flame love readings, right? Soulmate readings, because this is such a volatile topic. And to be honest with you, because of my own experience, I didn't really feel like I was qualified to do those readings or to have those conversations. And in the last decade, I really feel like I have come into connection with my twin flame in a way that now I'm able to understand and getting the downloads from Archangel Metatron, getting the downloads from my higher self that, and we talk about universal source love being the highest vibrational frequency of the universe. And so this connection, this energy, this amplification of the energy is really, I feel like what we're stepping into. And so there's a lot of people, you and me, and people who will come to this and see this, that maybe you've never really understood the twin flame journey. You never understood what a soulmate was. I know that for years, at least the last 3 decades, that soulmate term has really been, I think, overutilized by mass media, just people in general, but not really understanding what that meant, almost kind of bastardizing what it does mean. And so we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about what it is to be a twin flame, what it is to be soulmate. And then I'm going to be, if you saw the picture, I actually honestly, I didn't know if I could do this in this video, right? I've really not done these videos for a reason. And that was because, again, I didn't feel qualified, but so I was like, oh, wait a minute. I was downstairs journaling, and we're going to talk about what I journaled because it really was messages coming through me from Archangel Metatron, the wisdom bringer. And so I was like, wait a minute, I have everything upstairs. Like I have a whole room set up for these kinds of things, right? Getting these kinds of messages, being in connection with spirit guides and higher self and, all of it, right? So I was like, let me go upstairs and see if there's some decks I want to pull from, if there's some cards that are really resonating with me. Let me see what's going on. Let me see what the message is, right? And then all of a sudden it was like, I need this, I need this, I need this. Oh, I made a grid. Oh, I got the incense out. Like it's been a whole thing today. And I really was excited about it, which is why I kind of posted that this video would be coming, because I really feel like with what's going on energetically in the collective, in the astrology, there's just this twin flame energy, this soulmate energy, these connections are coming into cohesion. Like they're coming together, and we need to explore that. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. So many, many, many twin flames incarnated on the earth at about the same time in disconnection. So you made a soul contract with your twin flame, and your twin flame is that other part of you, that soul connection that is you, divine masculine, divine feminine, and you made a contract with each other to come down to the earth because the earth plane needed the amplification of the energy of source love. And you embody that as a twin flame couple, the two halves. So many, many twin flames are here on the planet, but they're not in connection in the physical. And some twin flames have actually decided to come down and kind of be the role of the catalyst for their twin flame and others. So for some in this life experience, it may not be a connection between you and your twin flame. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be coming into connection with your most compatible soulmate, because we're all here to have love and we're all here to have connection. And so the mirror part of you may have taken on the role of dark empath, may have taken on the role of narcissist, may have taken on the role of whatever they needed to do to help you ascend. And you ascend when you heal. So whatever catalyst they played in your life to help you to get to a healing journey or healing those parts of yourselves that need to be healed so that you can be in most compatible soulmate connection. And for some of you, you may get distraught over that. And I get that. I get that, because when you know that you've come into connection with the soul twin flame, but they're playing a role that is a catalyst to help you raise your frequency out of disempowerment, out of unworthiness, out of not being able to speak your truth, out of lack mentality, whatever it is. I mean, whatever you came in with the imprint of, right? From past lives, from the patterning, or even, what you took on early in this lifetime. And I don't want to focus on all of that because we do that a lot, right? I want to focus on this connection. And so for some of you, it's like, I know that person is my person, but they're abusive, or they have an addiction issue, or they keep rejecting me, right? And you don't know why. And I think, I'm not going to say I think, what I'm feeling that Spirit is bringing me today is that the reason that that is their role in your life is because they've come down to be the catalyst. The beautiful thing is they brought down the love and you brought down the love. And when you're in connection, the love that you share gets amplified. So you're positively impacting the planet. You're positively impacting the energies, the matrix, the grid. But it doesn't mean that they're going to do their work or they're going to not be the catalyst in this lifetime. And so the two cards that I started with were archetype energies from the Wild Harmonic Tarot. And I actually, I'm going to read from this because this is such a unique archetype deck. And it really does hone in on very specific archetypes. And so the first one I want to go into is the beautiful green card that we have here. So this is the air of earth. This is shared breath. And when this came out, I thought this was so beautiful because let's face it, if you're twin flame and, if you're knowing who your twin flame is, or you're feeling like you're in connection with your twin flame, or you just feel them, you just feel their energy, right? It is like a shared breath because there's something so familiar, so familiar. And so this says, as the interconnected intelligence embodies into the earth energy, the complex arrangement of mutually assured existence unfolds. So the meditation is interdependence, mutual reliance, and the acknowledgement of inherent alliance. I mean, if that doesn't beautifully describe a twin flame connection, interdependence, mutual reliance, and the acknowledgement of inherent alliance. This card is not the grim image of dependence, but the vibrant joy of sacred relations. It is how I contribute to all others directly and indirectly, and need them all to do likewise in order for each step to be taken. As the vibrant energy of interconnectivity surges through the land, all beings are part of the interwoven play of life. The trees exhale and I inhale. I exhale and the trees inhale. An endless complexity of other exchanges take place in the moment, granting a continuance of this experience of, in, as relationship. So your inquiry, how can I best honor the exchange of needs with others? And I think this is so important to really think about in the twin flame union, because if you're inhaling, they're exhaling. You are directly impacting through your energy. And that's why I feel like for some of these twin flame unions, there is this amplification of the energy between the two of you because one of you is doing the work. One of you is ascending. And if you're ascending, then your twin flame, whether they're playing the role of catalyst or not, or you're just maybe haven't found each other yet, right? But you're drawing them to you. You're calling them in. You're calling them into this next level of frequency, of vibration, of connection. And so even if you don't continue, if you never get physically in connection, right? On the astral or in the dream state, you're going to start feeling each other in the way that you've never felt each other before and having communication with each other, whether it's a conversation in the dream or whether it's just a knowingness that comes over you, dreaming or awake. But this is what I'm getting for the twin flame in this card, that you are intertwined. And whether you're in connection or not, you are communicating energetically, psychically, because as you exhale, they inhale. And as they inhale, you exhale. So that's just validation for those of you who are like, I know that I'm in connection with my twin flame. Maybe I don't know exactly who they are. Maybe I don't know their name. Maybe I don't know where they live, but I feel them. Or for those of you that are in astral connection and you are having conversations, you know who they are, but you know that for whatever reason, you can't be together in the physical. Or for those of you who are like, I know, because we all have twin flames, right? We all have a twin. We all have, that other part of us, that divine feminine to our divine masculine and vice versa. But it's really, really important to honor where you are on your journey. And a lot of people get so caught up in who are they, who are they, who are they? Let that go. Because the minute you let that go is the minute that you're going to be able to feel, hear, see, and know them in the higher dimensions, in your multidimensionality. The second card I pulled was Shadow of Dimensional Quandary Crossroads. I mean, if that doesn't depict twin flame, yin and yang, masculine and feminine. As the shadow consumes the dimensional expanse, our ability to discern wisdom becomes skewed. Yeah, it's time for you to come into clarity. And it's through us not being able to see things clearly, through the skewed perspective of pain and anger and resentment and jealousy and all of those lower frequencies. That is why for many of you, you have been in this pattern of kind of having relationships with this same type of person that doesn't work out at any, and it's never going to, right? So this is all about you kind of getting really clear about your energy. So the meditation is this: the contrast between reality and what we wish it to be, and the doubt that can arise from such. A card, perhaps one of the most difficult choices one ever has to make. When set upon by things going awry, does one fall into self-defeating attitude, or rise up and face things with the joyful mood of a walking dreamer who knows things aren't over yet? When things are going wrong for me, I feel this urge to believe that this is an indication of how things will go for me from now on. Something in me wants to confirm my perpetual doom and deeply wallow in the misery of that vision. Even though all is falling down around me, I can always choose to turn it with the perspective of and yet. So your inquiry for your self-reflection. What perspectives am I holding that may feel powerful, but are actually holding me back? And that's what I feel like is happening in these energies, that the twin flame energy is kind of rising up, because for many of you, you are being asked to step into either a twin flame connection or a most compatible soulmate connection. And how can you do that if you keep self-sabotaging by thinking that it's always going to go the way it's always went? And so I feel like this card is asking you to kind of revisit where you've been, the work that you've done, and trust that the new is not going to be the repeat of an old pattern. And yet. So those were the two cards that actually jumped out when because I did pull all these cards off camera, of course, and I may pull some cards on camera when I get through them all for messages for going forward, because basically these are all the energies of like where we've been or where we are, and then we'll get messages for where we're going, right, in the twin flame connection. So I think that's interesting or exciting. So where I went from there was I wanted to know, the romance angels were calling me. The romance angels were calling me. And this was really cool because these cards that came out surprised me, but in a really positive way, So Spirit is asking us, as you go forward, especially for those of you not in connection, or those of you maybe not in a connection, in the physical, but you're connected on the astral. Spirit wants you to keep an open mind, because for those of you who are like, what do you mean in a connection that's not physical, but in connection on the astral or in your dream life? Like, so remember, we're all energy. And so for some of you, this is about keeping an open mind to how you're going to be in connection to your twin flame, because it may very well be that they've come to be a catalyst, and the way that you're going to be in positive connection with them will be on the astral or in the dream time, so that they can communicate with you and share the love with you and help you by being able to be connected to you. Whereas in this life journey, they have chosen and agreed, to play a role that's going to help you evolve. So keep an open mind how you're going to be connected, how you're going to be connected. Just remember that we're human, and we really think more often than not that how something is going to happen or how something is going to go is not how it goes at all, but it's always for our highest and greatest good. And so, for some of you, your twin flame might be coming in as a friendship. It might not even be that you're going to be in a romantic connection with your twin flame, which, for those of you who are, not in connection in the physical, you're keeping an open mind about how you're going to be connected, and that maybe they are being a friend in this lifetime and not a romantic partner. That's where the soulmate comes in, the most compatible soulmate comes in. So it's not that you're not going to have love in this lifetime. And most compatible soulmates, that's a beautiful union because it doesn't have that dynamic that the twin flame has, right? Because the dynamic of a twin flame is being your mirror, right? Where a most compatible soulmate is going to be someone who is really more in alignment with who you are. They're going to share a lot of the traits that you share. You're going to have a lot of things in common. It's just going to be such an easy relationship because it just flows, right? So I don't want you to feel like if you're not going to be in connection with your twin flame in this life journey, like not to feel like you're missing out or losing out, because twin flames who come together to really be together in this lifetime, like they have a very tumultuous road because they're mirrors for each other. So they're always kind of being catalysts for each other and mirroring, right, where some ascension needs to happen through the healing, right? The evolution has to happen, right? So, so for some of you, this is going to be who you're coming into connection with in the physical is going to be a soulmate. Again, someone who's more compatible, who you guys have the same likes, you like to do the same things, you listen to very similar music, you read similar things, you think the same way about things. It's just an easy dynamic because there's really no rub, right? Or if there is, it's easily overcome because you give each other a lot of grace. And so you are going to be in connection where you're able to have heart-to-heart conversations. So your most compatible soulmate that's coming in is someone that you can be very honest with, and you can reveal your heart. You can open your heart to, because there hasn't been something between the two of you where you had to forgive each other, or you had to go through a really difficult time together, or you had to be in separation in this lifetime. So heart-to-heart conversations are very beautiful. And then, and for those of you that aren't in connection yet, stay optimistic about your love life, especially for those of you. And this really, when this came out, I was like, well, what does that mean? And then I was like, oh, that's going with that message. That if you're someone that has really had a pattern of failure after failure, or same types after same type, you've been in really narcissistic, abusive relationships over and over again, or you've had to deal with addiction over and over again, or both, or you really have had the dark empath experience more than once, or once was, trust me, if you've done it once is truly enough. But this is why they want you to stay optimistic, because they don't want you to get caught up in that it's never worked out for me before. I never attract the good guy. I never attract the guy that's got it together. I never attract the guy that's emotionally available, right? Let's use some very current terms, right? Spirit wants you to know that these are the energies where this is happening. You are now opening up to and being in connection with, you're resonating with. That's the better way to put this. You're in resonance now with people who are going to be more in alignment with who you are, which is why now in these energies, and honestly, this is going to be a timeless video. So if you're seeing this 3 years down the road, or 6 months down the road, or a month down the road, like this is still your energy. Like this is still your time. So the divine time is absolutely going to play into when you see this video, or when you're brought to this video, because I do feel like this is another one of my videos where Spirit's going to bring you to it when you need it, kind of like, my mantra, those who need me find me. So this will be one of those videos that when you need it, you will find it. And that's what I'm feeling here, that they really need you whenever you're seeing this, and whatever part of the journey you're on with a romantic partnership, soulmate, most compatible soulmate, twin flame, that you don't let the past really negatively impact the future, or the present, especially for those of you, maybe you're being brought to this because you just met someone and you're like, they interest me. That negative self-talk shows up. Yeah. That self-sabotaging attitude shows up. And that's where spirit's like, no. So this twin flame energy, who wanted to come in? We had a whole plethora of people. I thought I was going to get one card. I got 5. So take these how these resonate. But these are the, and again, I felt like it was the divine energy, divine feminine energy wanting to come into this video. Because and the divine masculine. So before we get to the cards, I did want to kind of talk about the grid a little bit. So on the grid, it was very interesting because a lot of beautiful crystals wanted to come out, but the divine masculine and the divine feminine wanted their own representations. So the divine feminine came in as choosing this angelite. So this is a very beautiful crystal, very, it's heart-shaped, so it's definitely heart chakra. But angelite was the divine feminine that wanted to come through. So this is, angelite is one of the stones of awareness for the new age. It represents peace and brotherhood, as the name suggests. It facilitates conscious contact with the angelic realm. It enhances telepathic communication and enables you out-of-body journeys. There it is. So angelite, if you're someone that really feels like you're coming into your twin flame in the astral, and you don't have angelite, you may want to invest in. This wasn't one of the more expensive crystals at all. So angelite, which is interesting because this ring actually called to me and I'm wearing blue. So it's all synchronistic, right? So yeah, if you're someone that really needs help getting into connection with the astral, with your twin flame on the astral or in the dream state, I would get some angelite and connect with that. Or you could just call in the energy of angelite. You don't really need any of the physical crystals, but you can absolutely amplify your energy through calling in the energy of the different crystals or having the crystals. So that was the divine feminine that wanted to come through. And then the other one that came in for the divine feminine or masculine was this beautiful crystal that I actually had in my other office. So this is what's so exciting about kind of having everything all in one place now. It's all coming together, and I don't like miss things. Like it's here when we need it. So this crystal is fire agate. Has a deep connection to the earth, and its energy is calming, bringing security and safety with strong grounding powers. It supports during difficult times. So this really, really, I can feel like embodies divine masculine energy of building safety and security or bringing in safety and security. Because if you think about it, that's what the divine masculine does. One of its attributes is keeping the divine feminine safe. So this fire agate wanted to come through for the divine masculine, and then we had angelite for the divine feminine. So those are the 2 crystals on the grid representing the twin flames. Okay, so getting back to the next set of cards. So the female, and this is why I got started on that, because the female archangels wanted to come in, the divine feminine energy wanted to come in. And I thought that was really cool because I feel, we're in the times of the rise of the divine feminine. And so it is balancing out all the divine masculine energy that has been, for thousands of years, kind of the gatekeeper of everything. And so the beautiful first archangel that wanted to come through was Archangel Caziel. Face your fear and rise. And look at that. She's got the yin yang sign right there. So this is definitely making me feel like it is time to embody your twin flame energy. So whether you're the divine feminine, you're the divine masculine, it's not male or female. That is the human's gender, but many, if you really think about your attributes, you can really lean into, are you the divine feminine? Are you the divine masculine? And so this is the time to call in Archangel Caziel if you're someone that is really, really afraid to step into this very powerful energy of twin flame and connecting with your twin flame, whether they're, being the catalyst that you need to do the ascending and the through the healing that you're being called to do, or if you feel like you're the catalyst for someone and kind of embodying a role that maybe doesn't feel comfortable, or it's difficult, right? It's difficult. So call on Archangel Caziel, however you need to help you move through this energy. And the second card out I thought was really interesting for this twin flame video. It was abundance, step into overflow. But if you look at the beautiful card, I really felt like, it is time to step into divine feminine energy, whether you're the divine feminine or the divine masculine, that, spirit is really asking you to embody both to balance out both within you, which will also help you to amplify this energy of twin flame connection, which is this beautiful frequency of love, of unconditional love. And so the abundance of love, step into that. Whether you're in connection with your twin flame or not, you can still step into the abundance or the overflow of the unconditional love that the two of you create together. So I really felt like that was, once I kind of tuned into it and I was like, what's this all about? Like, it really made sense because this is time for us to overflow our lives, overflow the planet with this beautiful amplification of the twin flame energy love, that frequency, allowing that frequency into our lives. Because when that frequency is in your life, it's not just amplifying your romantic partner or your romantic love, but it's also amplifying all the love in your life, whether it's friendship love, pet love, family love, love for yourself. So this is abundance of love in all areas of your life, not just romantic partnership. And when you're oozing this frequency, you're also going to be now stepping into rooms that you've never been able to enter before because your vibration is now overflowing in a way that it's never overflowed before. And so now doors are starting to open for you, whether it's networking doors, it's business doors, it's friendship doors, it's support doors, it's love doors, it's forgiveness. The energy of forgiveness is coming through with this. That you'll be able to give and receive forgiveness, an abundance of being able to get to the frequency of love through abundant or forgiveness. Yeah, interesting. Hadn't felt that before. So yeah, that's beautiful. Archia Mercy, cherish your sacredness. Yeah, this is time. It's time. Again, whether you embody mostly divine feminine or divine masculine, it is time to step into your sacredness, the sacredness of the divine feminine, the sacredness of this frequency of love that the twin flame generates and is also in resonance with the frequency of love that's coming from source. And so for those of you who are feeling like you've been isolated or you've been left out in the cold or you don't feel like you've ever really known love, we just have to drop down into our heart and let source love, your sacredness, come through you for you. It's so easy to bring it through for others. But for those of us who've really been emotionally shut down, it can be really, really hard to open it up for ourselves. And that's what you're being asked to do. Because when you love yourself, especially for those of you who are single and have been single for a long time, when you start really embodying true love for yourself, that's when you're going to call in that most compatible soulmate. That's when divine timing is going to join up those dots and you're going to have the experience of love that you've always wanted to have, that maybe you feel like you've never had. You've never felt like you've had unconditional love from a partner. You've never felt like someone put you on a pedestal or someone really went out of their way for you, that someone really took your feelings into account, made you a priority. And then Archea Joy came out, prioritize play and pleasure. And this didn't surprise me. Because if you're really someone that wants to manifest your most compatible soulmate or your twin flame in the physical, the way to do that, again, is to raise your vibrational frequency. And joy is one of the highest frequencies right up there with universal source love. So if you're embodying joy, truly joyful with your life, truly joyful with the energy that you emit, that you allow, then you really are going to start to see things show up for you that bring you more joy and pleasure. And for those of you who have really struggled, really struggled with having joy in your life, this is the time to step into it. This is the time to make it a priority. Just like you make other people a priority, it is now time for you to make yourself a priority. And this is card number 33. So master number 33 is coming through to let you know it is time to love yourself, put yourself first, and give yourself joy with Archea Grace. More flow, less hustle. We are so used to, in the human condition, striving and driving. And so again, when I saw these two cards come out, it just made so much sense that, yeah, this is the way. This is the way that we let love in. This is how we let love in. We allow the joy and the grace, and we let the grace and the ease, and we let the flow. And for those of you who really struggle with striving and driving and not striving and driving because you're so afraid that if I stop spinning my wheels 100 miles an hour, I'm going to get left behind. But what you don't realize is when you stop spinning your wheels 100 miles an hour, spirit comes in behind you and they take you and they put you up where you need to be. And that's what spirit is wanting you to do, especially around the idea of most compatible soulmate or twin flame, coming into connection with someone who can love you unconditionally or helping you to learn how to love yourself unconditionally. It's not hard. We make it so much harder than it has to be. We have to allow it to come in through joy and through flow and grace and ease, not striving and driving. You're actually blocking it. Crazy as that sounds, the striving and driving is actually blocking it. So for those of you who are like on 50 million dating sites and you're going out every weekend and you're trying too hard, you're blocking it. If you're loving yourself and you're having fun in your own life and you're emitting joy and you're emitting the frequency of love, people are just going to want to be around that. And your most compatible soulmate is going to be like, oh, there she is. There he is. I got to get over there. I got to meet that person. So if you're putting yourself out there 50 million ways, pick one, or pull yourself off of everything, stay home and do the inner work. Call in your angels, ask for the help. Where do I need to raise my frequency before I pick one thing to go back out on? Whether it's a group that I'm going to invest myself in or a dating website that I'm going to invest myself on, I'm going to pick one. The thing that you pick, the thing that you resonate with, that's the thing that's going to work for you because everything is spiritually guided. Your spirit guides got this, but you've got to have the trust and the faith. You got to have the trust and the faith. So the first card that came out was Traditions in the reversed position. I was going to say upside down, reversed position. This is the Hierophant. This was the Hierophant. And I thought this was interesting that it came out in reverse because I was like, oh, wherever you are on the journey is right where you need to be. You don't have to worry about knowing one more thing, clearing one more thing, doing one more thing. If you've been on a healing journey, an ascension process, if you've been spiritually awake, if you have been healing and learning, and then you've done what you need to do. Does it mean you're finished? No. Keep going, but don't feel like there's something you haven't yet attained. There isn't something yet you haven't learned because you have felt defeated. This whole thing around love has had you felt defeated. The next set of cards that I want to look at is the Enchanted Tarot. I still don't know where my camera is. Can you tell? This new setup. I'm still learning, guys. The Enchanted Tarot. So we're going to now, so I pulled 5 cards about kind of like where we're at. So this would be more like present day energy. And then from here, we'll look at messages that want to come through of kind of where we're going. Okay. So the first card that came out is the Hierophant in reverse. So it feels like there's some of you out there, like it's either time to start really looking at where you are energetically, where you are on the emotion chart, where your frequency currently is. Because for many people, I'm feeling like it came through that like you feel defeated. Like this whole thing around like getting a partner, meeting a most compatible soulmate, coming in connection with your twin flame, like pie in the sky, never going to happen. I've been trying forever. I've had nothing but schmucks in my life. Like I'm done. And so you've lost hope. So this whole energy around love in whatever form has really got you kind of like, it doesn't work out for me. Things don't work out for me. I'm not the one that receives. What I'm picking up that in these energies, that it is time for new growth. It is time for celebration and it is time for joy. Look at that, celebration and joy. 3 of shells and 6 of shells, which would be cups. So it is time for new growth. It is time for you to feel joy. It is time for you to have reasons to celebrate around love, around meeting a most compatible soulmate, around being in connection with your twin flame, however that looks for you. So with that being said, I'm actually going to put those cards back in and I'm actually going to shuffle. I had one escape, so we're going to put that one back in because we're not ready to look yet. I've got the camera so high. I've got everything a little higher, so it's not as comfortable to shuffle on camera, but I really want you to see the message coming out. Oh, I think we got one here. King of Wings, the professional. Oh, so for some of you, the person you're going to be coming into connection with, male or female, so it could be, King of Cups, King of Wings. I think this is, I always want to say it's the air energy, right? So that would be Wands. I really feel like this is, again, male or female, who you may be coming into connection with is going to be professional, or you're going to meet them in a professional setting. So for those of you who are still looking, I would say kind of being open, and I wouldn't really encourage like dating at work, right? That can get a little dicey. Having, relationships at work can get a little dicey. Especially if there's an inequality in power, right? So be careful about that. I'm not promoting that, but it may be someone who is professional, acts professional, or they have a profession. Okay, so that was the first message that wanted to come out about energies around your twin flame or your most compatible soulmate. Oh, and look at that one wanted to. Yeah, Two of Gems. I like this. So who's coming in, who you'll be coming into connection with is someone who is going to be very different from the type of person that you've ever dated before. They may be a whole different body type. They might have a whole different look than what you're used to. But this is asking you to be very open about who's coming in because it will be different. It will be a change from what your normal is. It has to be because your normal hasn't worked out, right? Your bad boy didn't work out ever, right? Your maybe you're overly analytical, never worked out. Like whatever, whatever it was that you were attracted to, be open to meeting someone who's very different from what you're used to. I'm going to do, so these cards I'm going to do for who is not in connection with anybody. If you're in a connection, I'm going to pull a separate message for all of you. That makes sense. I don't want to try to make these cards fit that. That doesn't feel like the way it's going to work on this video, in this message. Okay, there we go. Oh, the Wheel of Fortune luck. Your luck is turning around love. Your luck is turning around love. That's why Spirit doesn't want you to get so bogged down in what hasn't worked before, because your luck is changing. And it's not arbitrary luck. I really feel like the definition of luck that I like is, what is it? You put in the work and it's the right time. I'll have to look that up. I forget how it's worded, but yeah, it's you've been preparing. And now it's going to, the timing is showing up and it feels lucky, but it's not true chance. Because you have been doing the work. You have been doing the healing. You have been doing the awakening. You have been doing the self-reflection, the self-awareness, the raising your frequency. And maybe you think you have a whole lot more to do, but any movement of that needle from where you were is progress. And sometimes we don't give ourselves enough at all. We don't give ourselves enough credit for the work that we are doing or have done. And it's time. It's time to give yourself the kudos that you deserve. Oh, okay. That one would not go. And this one, and there's two. Okay. So let's take the top one. 8 of Shells, sacrifice. What did it come out with? 4 of Wings, privacy. I feel like they go together. Sacrifice and privacy. What I'm picking up is that it wants you to kind of get your relationship on the low. Often when we meet someone, especially someone we're really compatible with and we're really excited about, especially if we haven't been in a relationship for a long time, we just want to, shout it off the rooftops. Like, oh my gosh, I met my person. I'm so excited. This is awesome. Spirit's wanting you to keep it on the down low. Keep it on the down low. Just let you two get to know each other, explore each other, enjoy just being together before you let any outside influences have an opinion. Because I'm feeling like, especially for those of you who've been single for a long time, you've got people around you who are going to have some big opinions, right? You've waited this long. Are you sure this is the right person? They're going to have some big opinions. And Spirit wants you to feel really, really grounded and rooted in the relationship before you really start to share it. So let's not blast it on social media. Let's not change our status. Let's be quiet. Let's enjoy each other. Let's get to know each other. Let's take the time we need to take for ourselves. So I feel like that's what those two cards want you to just allow yourself I would say 3 to 4 months. 3 to 4 months, really get to know this person, really like in all kinds of settings, going to dinner, going for a hike, going to the movies, having a, quiet Saturday at home doing laundry and making dinner. Like really get to know this person and how they react in different situations, what their temperament is, what their beliefs are, what their opinions are. And that way, if you have to, you have to kind of wade through a couple of nobody's the wiser, right? Nobody's looking at you going, oh, there she goes again, making bad choices. You gotta kiss a few frogs before you get to the prince, right? You don't have to share those frogs. I feel like that was from my grandfather. I feel like those words were from my grandfather, that analogy. The Magician in reverse. I think I'm going to read the book. Let me get the book. No, don't push it. There's a reason for concern about whether there's magic in this relationship. If you're looking for a relationship, there may be reluctance to commit or even to show interest because of fear of rejection. A lot of doubt may arise as a result of past relationships not working out. Passivity, doubt, and a lack of self-confidence may also be stopping someone from taking the first step. Both people involved need more assurance from the other that their affections are mutual before the magic of trust can bring true love. Okay, so now I get where this is going. So this goes back to, and I knew when I pulled this card, it was a big message. I knew when I pulled this card, this was really, really important. So yes, not letting self-sabotage, doubt, lack of confidence get in your way. Past relationships, past patterns, not letting that make your decisions or impact your decision making. This is about you having the strength and the confidence and the wherewithal to go, okay, yeah, things didn't work out in the past, right? I get that, right? But I am now ready. I am now ready for love to be easy, to flow, and to be joyful. And if you're not in connection with your twin flame, that's what they're trying to help you with in the astral. If you are in connection with your twin flame, they always want that for you. That's just part of the twin flame unconditional love, right? Same thing with most compatible soulmate, right? So now what we're going to do is I'm going to get some messages for those of you that are in connection already, whether you're in connection on the physical, astral, or in your soulmate connection. Whew, this has been a fun video to do. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I'm hoping there's one little edit I can make because I started one part of the reading and I wasn't ready. I didn't start it correctly. So hopefully I can get that out of there because I really want to, I think some good stuff has come through. I do think some good stuff has come through. I hope you do too. So please like, share, comment. Let me know. Let me know. Oh, holy cow. So I want to use this deck for, I guess we're not gonna. Okay. When a deck does that over and over again, it means it's not the right deck for what I'm trying to do. So I will be right back with the deck that's going to work for those of you in Connect. Interesting. I walk over there and I see this deck right off the bat. And this is John Holland's Psychic Tarot for the Heart. And I'm going to be honest with you, I totally forgot I had this deck for probably a couple of years now. Forgotten. I've had it quite a few years, but forgotten it because it was buried. So when I moved and everything got unburied, I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that deck. I need to put that up front. Now I know why. This video was coming and it was going to be needed. All right, so those of you in connection are getting a John Holland Psychic Tarot from the Heart message. All right. John Holland is actually one of the first decks. It was the Psychic Tarot deck that I got. It was one of my very first tarot decks I ever used. I didn't really resonate with Rider Waite, and I didn't really know how to read tarot, as a tarot reader. But so I used oracle cards. And so John Holland, I feel very connected to because he's very influential in the beginning of my journey, whether he knows that or not. Okay, so if you're in a current connection, twin flame, most compatible soulmate, in the astral, in the physical, however you're in connection, take the lead. Take the lead. So, and take the lead in healing. So for those of you in connection that are really struggling for whatever reason, you're being asked at this time to take the lead in your healing. Because here's the thing, this is what's beautiful about this. And this is what I teach all the time to all of my coaching clients and people that I've done energy work with who are in a relationship that maybe isn't what they would like it to be, but they want it to work. What I tell people is if you're doing your healing, whether that other person's spiritual, whether that other person believes in what you're doing, maybe they don't even know what you're doing. But what happens is as you raise your frequency, it amplifies their frequency. And so their frequency raises. Now, it's never going to be equal unless they do their own work. But what happens is, if you're both kind of in the lower portion of the emotional chart, say you're down here and they're in more, grief, lust, greed, but you're more in criticism, judgment, and resentment, right? So you're both you're on the lower half of the chart, but you're not compatible in where you are. When you start to raise your frequency, now you're coming out of resentment and criticism and judgment. You're getting into contentment. You're getting into boredom. You're moving up, right? You're actually pulling them along the way. So if you take the lead in the healing for yourself, because you can't change anybody else, you can only change yourself. But what that does, it helps to amplify their energy. And they will, if they love you truly, especially if this is a soulmate twin flame situation, they're going to stick around. They're going to stick around. And you're going to start seeing them, feeling them, knowing, hearing, experiencing them differently. And it's beautiful. I've seen it happen quite a few times in the work that I do. So if you're someone in connection, you'd have to take the lead in whatever the healing is for yourself, especially if there's something in the relationship you want to heal. Oh, okay. And you also have to be willing to listen. Not listen to the words, but soul level listen, heart to heart. Hear the feelings are behind the words, what's truly being said. That's what you're being asked to do. What are they not saying, but they're saying? Because they're saying it with their heart, they're saying it with their actions, they're saying it with their belief systems, they're saying it in all the other ways except the words. Are you being present enough, open enough, aware enough to be listening from that space? And that is truly going to make a difference for the connection. Connection is important. It's important to you and it's important to the other person, even if you don't feel like they think it's important because they don't treat you well or they don't respect you the way you want to be or whatever it is. They're there because they love you. And you can't change them, but you can model listening from a soul level. You can model healing from a soul level, and that will change the relationship in a positive way, especially for those of you who really feel like you're stuck, things are stagnant, there's a real disconnect between the two of you. This is how you reconnect, speaking your truth. So not only listening, but also speaking your truth. Are you asking for what you need? Not asking from the ego, not asking like, blah, 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 I want, blah, blah, blah. No, it's more like speaking from your whole, because when you're speaking from your heart, when you're speaking from the place of love, again, even if they don't want to hear it because you've said it 1,000 times before from the egoic head, mental space, but now you're speaking from your heart, they'll hear you. They still may not like what you're saying, but if you're doing the healing and you're coming at them with love, makes all the difference. Makes all the difference. And on the bottom of the deck, you are the master teacher in this relationship. And so if you really want the relationship to change, you model, you embody. Not the message I thought we were going to get for you guys. Not at all. Interestingly enough, where I saw that going. I really didn't. So beautiful. Beautiful messages. So a little bit of a message that I'm going to read from my journal now for everyone that came through, which prompted this video. Twin flame energies coming onto the planet to bring that level of love frequency, whether in connection or not, each holds the love level frequency imprint that helps negate the evil imprint from the forces of negativity. Each holds the template of love connection that they share, whether the connection is in this lifetime due to individual journeys of evolution to come together at some time later in this lifetime or the next. Keep connected on the astral and in dreams to keep connection alive, of love, vibrant and alive, and to bolster each other during their trials and tribulations on their ascension journeys of evolution and healing. You come into connection with the aspect of your twin flame for soul growth. More theirs than yours, you came in as a master teacher to help the ascension process for all the planet. So for those of you who have been single a long time, those of you who have had patterns of abusive relationships, narcissistic, dark empath, verbal, mental, emotional, physical, whatever it is, whatever you have gone through, you went through the fire. And it is now time, because you have ascended out of the fire, for you to now come into connection with that most compatible soulmate in the physical, or twin flame in the physical or on the astral. And so that is what is happening. And so I hope you found this valuable. I hope this helps you in some way. Please leave a comment. I would absolutely love to know where you are on your journey, or what really helped or resonated. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all the support. Please like, share, subscribe, and we'll talk soon. Namaste.